Hi everyone and welcome to Module 3C. So last time in 3B, we were reading from a file. So we had a list and we were basically putting the contents of that list as the lines of the file. So if our file was hi.txt and it looked like this, well, to put that into a list in Python, then we can do this here where we're basically reading the file in all at once and then splitting it by that \n, that new line separator, and putting that into a list like that. Now we are going to do essentially the opposite, which is either put in a whole file at once. So if we had some super long string, then we could write to a file like that, make that the contents of the file. Or if we had stuff in a list, so if we had a list of strings, then we want to make that the file itself. So if we had hey and hello, then I wanted to output that into a file that is first line is hey and second is hello. If you've not enrolled, please subscribe. And today we're going to do that. So it's going to still be with open. Now, what file name? Well, with write mode, and I'm going to show you the second parameter, is going to be w. So we're going to be writing to a file. Now, if this is true, then we are going to overwrite the file name if this exists. So when we open like this, if this file does exist, then we're going to immediately destroy the contents in it. And if we don't write anything, then it'll be empty. Or if it doesn't exist, then we're going to create the file. That's what this does. So I will make some file called hey.txt. Whether that exists or not, in write mode, it doesn't matter because it does exactly the same thing. There's going to be a file called hey.txt, and right now there's nothing in it. So as f, and right now, let's just write something to the file, which is f.write of hey. Okay, so if we do that, and now if we copy this, but basically, actually, I'm just going to read it from like physically. So we see that it made one line of hey. Now, what does this write thing actually do? Let's play around with it for a brief moment. So if I do write again, if I write, say, hey2, does that put stuff on a new line? Notice that, or remember that whenever I call this open thing with write mode, it's going to kill the previous file and make a new one. So it's not going to append to the other one, which we'll see later. So if I open this thing now, it is hey, hey2, all on the same line. All right, that is not really desired, at least from what I would see of this code. I would think it's putting hey on one line and then it'll next line do hey2, except it's not. It's literally writing this content of the string, or these strings into the file. So if we do hey \n and then we create that again, then if we open that, it now puts it on the next line because it's hey \n hey2. That's truly what this file actually is. So if we did have this huge long string of stuff, then we would need \n's to separate the file lines. And so more likely, if we do have file lines, we actually have it in some list of strings. Say x is equal to hey1 is the first line, and then hey2 is the second line. And so we want to make hey1 and then hey2. All right, that's what we want to make, and I just created it by myself, but kill that for now. And so the file is empty. If we open that and then make this list, now what we can do is for x, or we'll say for a in x, so each of these a's is the string in order, then what we could do is f.write, and then x plus \n, because then that's going to put the element and then make a new line. So can only concatenate list, not string. So what's the problem here? I am putting x instead of a. That's just my bad. Write a. And now it is going to do that. Notice that there is a blank line at the end. We could fix that if we wanted to, but honestly, it's probably okay as is like that for most circumstances. All right, so that is the idea of writing to a file. Most of the time it's going to look like this format where you have a list of strings and you want to put that into a file itself. Or if you had some big content, then you would just put all of that in at once, whatever the string happens to be, and that would be fine. All right, so now appending to a file. maybe something like this could be like a update progress screen, for example. So imagine like you're installing your operating system and it's writing to this file, which is saying like, okay, what has it done so far? It's going to be a log file where it's like, okay, moved files here, downloaded files here. So something like this is an append to a file because you don't really want to know what you did before. You just know that you want to put your contents to the end of the file and keep whatever was there before if there happened to be something. So this is the idea of appending to a file. So I'm going to just copy this and put this down here, except let's open hey.txt with A. So appending to the file. Now if I had this new list of, say, I'll make it look pretty by doing hey3 and hey4, then for A and X, I want to again still call write. I'm still writing to the file, except it's not deleting what it did before. And in fact, the write never actually deleted what was there before. It was the fact of opening it as write mode, which is what deletes it. So then if I do this exact same thing, that ran just fine. And if I open it again, it is hey1, then hey2, then hey3, then hey4, and then line 5. Notice that, remember before we actually had a blank line here, except since what it's doing is writing the name, it actually is starting on that blank line and then making hey3 that first on that same line, and then hey4, and then the blank line is going to be at the end, which is again still as desired. So that is writing and appending to files, and I hope you liked it. I will see you in the next video.